everyone. Welcome to On the Air presented by AIRWAAV. I'm your host, Sydney Smith, and I'm here with professional softball player Ally Carda. She has been a member of the USA national softball team since 2015 and has a ton of accolades under her belt, such as being an Olympian and world champion. I'm excited to hear from her and her AIRWAAV story. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. How was Team USA training camp?
It was good. We had like three teams there, like an 18s team, the elite team, and then the women's team. So it was a lot of people, but it was great. It was fun to have everyone. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of travel, I feel like, between Japan, the USA camp. I don't know what else.
Yeah. So I was in Japan for like 4 months. It was a long one this time, and then came back, had a little bit of time, like 2 weeks or so. Then went to training camp, and then our women's team heads to Italy next week for the World Cup. So
That's so
yeah,
fun.
yeah, so it'd be cool. It'd be a good spot for it.
Yeah. Have you been there before?
For like a week, I played like a European tournament, like so it was literally a week, and I didn't get to do a ton. So hopefully we get to do a couple things, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
How are you feeling about it?
Good. I'm excited. Yeah, I feel I'm one of the older ones now, oldest-ish one. So it's just been different, but it's been fun. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I feel like you have a lot of experience under your belt, so maybe you don't get as nervous as some of the other players. I don't really know, but
Yeah, you still have it for sure, but yeah, it's fun to like all there. We have a mix of like college girls, some of the veterans, and then some people who've just been in it for a couple years. So I feel like it's a really good balance of all of us. So it's been a
yeah.
lot of fun. Yeah.
How long have you been on the team for?
Since 2015, when I graduated college, was my first summer with USA. So
Okay.
then, yeah, what is that? I don't even know. 9 years, 8 years. So been a little
Yeah,
while now.
it has been a while.
Yeah.
How is playing softball professionally compared to playing at UCLA?
It's a lot different. I would say too, professionally, like I've been in Japan now, this will be my 6th year.
Hmm.
So that's completely different than like the US professional space. But I've really enjoyed it. It's a lot of just like different athletes, like over in Japan, it's just a different style of play. And then when I'm with the USA team, obviously we play like other countries in the international tournament. So I feel like that's helped me a lot kind of with
Yeah.
knowing the international play. But yeah, it's just different than college. I really enjoyed college. And they're like now too, like the college space, there's just so many just incredible athletes. Like I feel like they're all just so much better than when I played and the hitters and all the things. So it's just different. Yeah, it's been fun though to be able to kind of see all the different aspects of different professional spaces. So
Yeah. That's super cool. Coming from UCLA, I bet that was so fun to play at. And then just like the amount of places that you traveled just being professional. Um,
yeah,
like Japan, Italy, like that's so cool. That would be so
yeah.
fun. And like getting to play a sport that you love too. Like I don't know if it can get better than that.
Absolutely, yeah. And we got to see like so it's so cool when you go to we've been to like the Dominican Republic or Colombia, just like other countries that maybe don't have as many resources too, and you just see people who like absolutely love the game. Like they just
Yeah.
absolutely love softball and baseball. So to just be in like countries and areas with people like that and then getting to do it like with USA is just even more special. But it's so cool to like be able to travel the world and see how many people just like really love the sport. So that's been
Yeah.
probably the coolest part. Yeah.
So I want to take a step back and really go to the beginning of your career because I know that you played softball your entire life. You're still playing now. You literally have played it forever. So what inspired you to start softball and what drew you to the sport to begin with?
I think I grew up and like kind of started it in t-ball, as I'm sure a lot of people do. But just kind of like learned the game with my dad. So my dad still coaches to this day, even though I'm obviously like far removed from the travel ball world. But it was really fun just being able to kind of learn the game with him. He had never done anything with softball before, so it was fun to just be able to kind of connect on that. And then got to play. I really didn't play many other sports growing up. I was like just softball.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to kind of do it again, I would say maybe I would do some more sports, but like I really also just loved it. And I got to meet so many new people. And then it obviously like led me to UCLA where I got to play in college. And that was kind of the ultimate goal, until USA came around. So just, yeah, really grateful that I got to kind of experience all the things with my dad growing up.
Yeah. So I'm assuming now he's like still invested in all your games, and even though they're all over, watching online, and I guess,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And he's still, yeah, he probably loves softball more than I do, but he's like, he's all over the place watching and doing all the things. So yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah. How have you been able to refrain from burnout, especially softball being your only sport and playing it for your
Yeah.
entire life?
I did experience burnout. I think when I graduated from UCLA, I didn't really know if I wanted to play anymore. I was kind of at that point and, but got the national team invitation for trying out. And I did it because I was like, what an awesome opportunity. I can't turn that down. But, I did experience that and kind of was like, didn't know if I wanted to play anymore. But I think as I kind of progressed through my career and got to play with USA and like play with different athletes and be around different people and coaches, I was able to kind of like find that love again, and figure out. I mean, it's hard when you graduate, like you have to figure out for yourself, not only like life, but like coaching, like softball. Like, how am I going
Yeah.
to still train and get better and do all these things? I don't have someone telling me what to do 24/7. So it was a hard transition for me, especially like I said, like I did experience kind of that burnout, but kind of pushed through it, and I'm glad I did because I like now love it more than I ever have, and I think I just was able to kind of figure out and like what does softball mean for me and what do I need to do daily to be great, but then also like enjoy it. And I think that
Yeah.
was like the piece I was missing. So being able to kind of find that balance has been what I keep in the front of my brain, as I still play right now. So I've found a love again in the later years of playing that I've really enjoyed.
That's so, so cool. And I know you're big now, especially like on mindset. I know you work with different athletes on mindset. And do you think that comes from having that experience and obviously just maturing in the sport and having a different perspective, from personal experience? Do you think that, I guess, like go hand in hand together?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was a little bit stubborn in college and in those mindset things that I wish like I had did better. But as I like, I'm so grateful that I still play. A lot of softball players, their careers end a bit early. Our professional space isn't hopefully where it will be someday, so we can't make a living off of it right now. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to still play and be over in Japan, and get to play professionally. So I think over the years, like I said, I've had to figure out for myself, like, what do I want my training to look like? What do I need to do for my mental health to be able to like just be happy and enjoy what I'm doing? And then the mindset piece too. It's like, okay, now you're playing against the best of the best, and everyone just continues to get better. So I had to figure out, okay, I can't just like, I'm a hard worker, but I can't just work hard in the physical things. I have to
Yeah.
figure out how to work hard, mentally and beat people like with my mind first before I even step on the field. So that's been a really big transition for me. And it's like, I think set my career to a whole different point. I think being able to like know how to recover and figure out how to bounce back. But I think the biggest thing has been like when you don't feel great, how can you still figure out how to win? Like,
Mhm.
as athletes, like we rarely feel great and have our best stuff every day. So how do I know that and, win with my C game and figure out how to still beat people and still get confidence even when you may not necessarily be getting like the outcomes to gain the confidence. Like you still have to figure out in your training how to kind of replicate that and be able to get confidence from within, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know if this question is exactly answerable, but how did you figure that out of knowing knowing that and like actually figuring it out and putting into play of how to overcome that?
Yeah, I do have an answer because it was a specific time in my career. So in 2018, I didn't make the US. We have to retry out every year. So
Mhm.
in 2018, I went to the tryout and I didn't make the team. It was a big year. It was actually the year that was going to be the team that went to qualify for the 2020 Olympics. And so it was a big roster that year, and I didn't make the team, and I shouldn't have. I like wasn't in the best shape. I wasn't doing what I should have been doing training wise, just wasn't where I needed to be. And I didn't make the team that year. And it really like kicked my butt. It was like,
Yeah.
gave me kind of the wake up call I needed to be able to like, okay, if this is what you want to do and you want to make that 2020 roster, like you have to figure it out. And so I think it was that mindset piece. It was a lot of like, yeah, okay, I need to get in shape. I need to do something like different things physically. But a lot of it was like, um, I didn't feel confident in my game. I wasn't getting maybe as the playing time as I did in college. I wasn't the ace. I was playing with all
Mhm.
these awesome players that were like better than me at that time, and so I had to figure out like just stick more to the process. And I felt like as I look back on it, it was like I was just so tunneled into what I was doing, and not in a selfish way, but just like my process and what I need to do every day, and like just genuinely not concerned with what anyone else was doing. Like I wasn't comparing myself to anybody. I just like I had a plan every day of this is what I was going to do, this is my goal, and I'm going to do it. And it
Yeah.
just was like every single day of that, and it just all kind of added up. And then flash forward, like I made that 2020 roster to go to the Olympics, and then it just continued to build on like, then you get the opportunities, you start to feel more confident, you see a little bit of like, I saw my body changing, getting stronger, which then translated on the field. So it just always like all these small little things started to like piece together slowly. And I felt like that was kind of like the turning point of all of those things.
Yeah. I mean, focusing it in on yourself, like you were saying, not that that was a selfish thing, but that clearly paid off to get you to where you need to be now. And in that, outside of yourself, were there any athletes or people really who influenced you to have that mindset?
I think my wife now, actually, Kelly Crutchman, she is a Olympic softball player as well. She's a two-time
Oh, really?
Olympian. Yeah, and she is just like we're opposite in the best ways. So she has that mindset of like she's the best and is going to win everything she does. And so I think she really helped with that mindset of like, no, you are good and you just need to figure out what you need to do to make yourself great and don't worry about what everyone else is doing. So
Yeah.
I think having her in my back pocket, we weren't married at the time, but like I had a great relationship with her to be able to like, okay, help me do this. Help me, like, what does this look like and feel like, and how can I get there? So I was so grateful to have her around at that time, to be able to like remind, like sometimes you just need that reminder and like you are good and you deserve this. Now, like, let's work.
Yeah, and to be talking about it too, like sometimes I know for me, like sometimes you just need someone to have be telling something to give you a little bit boost of confidence. And especially people that are more wired with a mindset that they are like going to win.
Yes.
And having that rub off on you a little bit is like huge.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like a game changer. Seriously. It's like when you get,
Yeah.
yeah, surround yourself with those people who just like have that naturally. Like it's something you can learn, but it's like, it's nice to have that voice there when you're
Yeah.
trying to work on it.
hmm So knowing what you know now, what is something that you wish you would have known when you were starting out, or even um, maybe in college or early on in your professional career?
I think I would have maybe been more organized on like what I did want to do. I think I'm a workhorse. I like to work hard, but like I think I was just all over the place more mentally, like we've talked about.
Yeah.
So just being more open to having someone help me, like, okay, this is our plan. This is what we're gonna do. Like I said, I was a little stubborn with that mental piece in college. So I think if I were to be a little bit more open-minded about that and just asking for help and then also receiving help. Again, stubborn and like I just thought I could always figure everything out. And that's just not the case. It's not realistic. So
Yeah.
I feel like I was just beating my head against a wall when I could have just asked for help and made it easier on myself. So, and with the mental health piece too, I've struggled a lot with like anxiety and different things, and especially in the transition of like my senior year, maybe junior or senior year, and then senior year graduating. And I wish I just would have like asked for help more or been more open to people
Yeah.
helping me instead of just kind of shutting down about it.
Yeah. I think we can all do that too. And like for me personally, like I think I might operate a little similar to you in that aspect of
Yeah,
really just being hard headed, and sometimes it is okay to ask for help. So yeah.
absolutely.
Overall, you have a ton of accolades over the course of your career. Olympian, world champion, like so many different things. Can you share what maybe your most memorable moment so far has been?
Ooh, yeah. I actually think it is so in the Olympics we won silver, but that means you kind of technically lost, right? So we lost to Japan in that gold medal game. So the following year in 2022, we had the World Championships and we hosted it in USA, and it was in Alabama, and we played Japan again in the final, and I just it was so incredible to kind of redeem ourselves after losing in that gold medal game in the Olympics. But we got to play them in that final game, and Monica Abbott, who was an awesome, I mean, if you know softball, you know Monica Abbott, and she was been our leader and
Yeah.
our pitcher forever with Team USA. And she had been throwing that game. She started, and then I got to come in and close. And she handed me the ball and was just like, this is your moment. Like, it's your time. Like, I believe in you. Let's go, kind of thing.
That's
And
so sick.
one to have, yeah, like one to have that moment. And then two, it was like, we got to be on home dirt. Like, the stadium was incredible. We were playing in front of thousands and thousands of people, and everyone's chanting USA. And then we got to beat Japan with me being able to come in and close and win that game versus them. To just kind of get a little redemption. Plus, just like I feel like again in my personal journey, it was just kind of a big moment for me to be able to feel like okay, like again, I deserve to be here. I can beat Japan. I can be the leader of Team USA. All of those different things I just kind of felt like came together at that moment. And it was just so fun to be able to do it in
Yeah.
USA, like in front of all those people. It was such a fun moment.
I can only imagine how cool that was, especially with the crowd chanting too, and you having this moment, and it's just such a build up. I wish that would be so cool to experience. That would be so cool.
I'm hoping again, and hopefully we can all get there in
Yeah.
28. It'll be another experience here in USA.
Yeah, so cool. So I know we talked about mindset a lot. It's something huge for you and every single other athlete. When it comes to the game itself, what is your mindset and how do you go about it?
I think my mindset has simplified a lot over the years. I think like my goal is to just win every single pitch. And the winning, it might not be that I get the outcome of an actual win or an out, but like just to have that mindset of I'm going to dominate this pitch,
Mm-hmm.
whether I'm on the mound or if I'm on the field or whatever it might be, is like just dominate and win this pitch. And then moving on to like dominating and winning the next pitch. Because we have, so many there's probably 100 and something pitches within a game. And so instead of thinking about it in 7 innings or 100 pitches or like I have to do A, B, and C, as long as I just compete and win that pitch and then win the next pitch, most often than not, I'm pretty successful. So just trying to really simplify it and kind of be in that moment, in that one pitch at a time mindset.
Yeah. You want to do the best to your variability and really just anything that you can to get you to the top level, which you are there. But even then, like there's still always things to improve on. And you're really taking every single step to do that. And I think one of those things too that you have done is using AIRWAAV with the little bit that it helped. Not that it's some massive drastic difference, but it does help with performance. So, and that is not something that has been in the sport of softball for a long time. So can you talk about
Yeah.
how you were introduced to AIRWAAV to begin with?
Yeah, and yes, I have absolutely loved it. And I like never say this. I'm like whoever I talk to, I'm like I'm such not a like gimmicky,
Yeah.
I don't know, little tool gadget person. So like when I buy into something, I truly buy into it, and it really has made such a difference. It's been so fun. But I first got introduced to it at USA Softball was hosting like a high performance program event for younger athletes that us older ones were working.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a tent there, and I got to meet Chance was there, and um, just kind of I had known about the product, but hadn't ever talked to anyone about it. So I got to kind of just ask her questions, and she explained what the mouthpiece actually did and what it was. And so then I got one from there and started using it that next week when I got home in my weight training first, and then implemented it into my bullpens.
Yeah. What were your thoughts initially? Because a lot of people are like, a mouthpiece, like, really, that doesn't help. And just because it was something so new, yeah, what were your initial thoughts on it?
Sorry, you cut out. What were my initial thoughts?
Yes.
Okay.
Just because it's something so new, and a mouthpiece, like, a lot of people are very questionable about it and just being like, oh,
Yeah.
a mouthpiece does not help. Um,
Yeah.
and like
I
very
think
skeptical of it.
absolutely. I think that was one of my thoughts, kind of like, okay, does this actually have, like, I don't know, when you hear,
Yeah.
obviously there's a ton of science and things behind it, but I was like, wow, like it really, a mouthpiece can do all of that? I was like, that's crazy. And then secondly was like, will I actually like wearing it? Because I've never
Mhm.
worn anything in the game. I don't wear any face masks. I don't wear anything like that. So I was like, am I going to be uncomfortable? That was a little bit of my worry. Now I can't, I mean, it's weird if I don't have one in. I can't,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, how did I not play with this before? Like, it's the craziest thing. So those are kind of my two, like, first moments, skeptical, like, I'm not sure, but completely, yeah. Once you use it and learn about it, it's a no-brainer. And it's been like, okay, I really don't even know how I like didn't wear anything before.
Yeah. Can you talk about the process of initially trying it out, especially because you hadn't worn a mouthpiece and you don't like all these extra things? Yeah, just like how you fit it and how you implement it into your routine, what that looked like.
Yeah. Fitting it is super easy. So that too, I was like, okay, this is going to be a whole process. And it was super easy to fit it. And then like I said, I first used it in my weight training and bike workout. And I could feel a difference in, just like the actual rep, like doing obviously the like kind of exhale, pushing the weight.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. Let's see how is it going to feel when I pitch? So when I did it in the bullpen, I could feel like, again, it's almost like I don't know how I didn't use it before, because you exert so much energy in our second half of our pitch, like when our motion's kind of coming down and we're going to release the ball, is like so much energy that's being thrown out there. And
Hmm.
I don't think I realized um, how much you do exert. So I think it was like, it just felt so natural because I was able to use that to my advantage and like use it and help exert more power versus like, I was like, oh my God, I'm like gripping my teeth. Like it's crazy without it again, like I said. So I think it was just more of that, like it felt super easy. I really didn't have too much of like an issue transitioning with it feeling different or weird or like wanting to take it out.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty smooth transition. I didn't think it was anything that I didn't want to use. And then obviously like instantly could feel the difference on like I said, that point when you're kind of exerting the power at the bottom of my motion, which was really cool.
Yeah. As a pitcher, what would you say is the problem that AIRWAAV has solved for you?
Um, well, honestly, I throw hard, but I was at kind of the weird like in softball, let's say like 70, people are throwing 70 miles an hour to 71, 72 is like you're throwing very hard. And
Hmm.
I'm at the like 67, 68. So I'm kind of that like in between good speed for people. And I actually, this past half in Japan, I upped my speed, which I I was like, okay, I know AIRWAAV says that's possible and things, but I gained like just like a mile and a half on my speed, which
That's
that's a
big.
huge
That's
difference
big.
for, right,
Yeah.
even half a mile. That's a huge difference for the timing of hitters. And so I thought that was really cool that I was actually seeing a difference in like swing and misses and foul balls versus like I get a lot of jam hits. So I was like, okay, maybe that's, and who knows, but I'm like,
Yeah.
if that's actually making that small difference and like I'm getting a foul ball versus a jam hit, like that's a win. That's like a huge win for me as a pitcher because that's my MO. I try and jam a lot of hitters. So just getting a small advantage on my miles per hour is like a game changer, especially at
Yeah.
like the higher level. Like we talked about, I mean, you might not see this massive difference, but like at the highest level, all you need is that little difference because everyone is great, right? It's like you're just trying to get a little bit
Yeah.
of an edge on somebody. So that's where I've seen it the most. And then secondly, my breath, I'm a big like breath. I do a lot of breath work, different things like that. And so that helps like when I'm in the game and, in big moments or whatever it might be, or you're working hard, fast.
Yeah.
One, it kind of just reminds you to like slow down because you have like it forces you to breathe correctly. But then also it does that for you naturally, like puts your tongue in the correct position, right? So I think just naturally having it in, like when I first got the product, I'm like, well, if it's gonna just help me having it in regardless with my breath, like why would I not use it? Like I don't
Yeah.
even have to do anything and it's helping me.
Yeah,
So
for
I
sure.
thought that was the really cool part too.
And like you were saying, every little bit helps, especially at a higher level, really no matter what level you're at. But even getting like a half a mile difference, that is
Absolutely.
huge and plays a big role into it could be winning or losing at that point.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you touched on it some, but when you're pitching, what do you feel with the AIRWAAV in?
I guess one, I feel just more relaxed. And then two, I feel like I'm able to be more powerful. So it's kind of like, I guess, opposing words there, but like you can be more powerful when you're relaxed. So I think they
Yes.
just kind of go hand in hand. Like I'm able to not have to try and work so hard. It kind of creates that relaxed feel to then be more powerful and exert more power.
Yeah. So for someone listening to this and they haven't tried AIRWAAV out before, what could you say they would expect to see when trying out AIRWAAV, either in their training, pitching, for example? Why should they try it out?
I mean, I think like I said in general, if anything is going to help your game, and whether you're an elite athlete or you're just, trying to get a scholarship and you're in high school, I think it like gives you that edge. And secondly, like I've done a lot where I, use it for a couple pitches in a bullpen and then I don't use it to actually feel the difference. Like I did that when I first started out using it. And I mean, it's a massive difference you can feel. And whether you're a hitter, a pitcher, whether it's like lifting weights and different things like that, like if you don't use the AIRWAAV for a rep and then use it for the next rep, like you will actually feel the difference of the amount of power that you can exert, and the amount of like the difference you feel with your breath. So I would just say, even if you're skeptical or if you don't really know, to get one and do that within your training, to use it and then don't use it and see the difference because it'll speak for itself.
Yeah. I heard the first part and the in part, but the middle part where you said secondly, I did not hear what you said around there. I don't know if you remember at
Oh,
all, but do you mind repeating that so I can hear?
yeah, let's see if I remember.
I'm so
I
sorry.
think, no worries. I think being like, when I first started using it, I think I was just explaining like the reps of like, I would not have the mouthpiece in for a few, whether I'm in my bullpen, throw a couple pitches without one, and then actually use the AIRWAAV and throw it for the next couple pitches. So I think you can actually see and feel the difference right away when you do that. So just being able to, like I said, be more relaxed and you actually feel the difference within your breath. And then secondly, like that piece on like feeling the power difference, whether
Yeah.
you're lifting, running, hitting, pitching, whatever it is, like you can feel when you have it in versus when you don't have it in. So I think that the mouthpiece would speak for itself. If you're feeling a little skeptical or if you wanted to just try it out, you can definitely see the difference right away.
Yeah. Can you walk me through a typical training day and how you integrate AIRWAAV into your routine?
Yeah, I depending on the day, I'm a big cycler. I like Peloton a lot, so I'll
Really?
do either a warm up. Yeah, I love
That's so
it's been
fun.
a game changer for me. So I'll either do just as a warm up or an actual workout, but I'll usually do a Peloton and then do a lift session. So like I said, either way, if it's more a heavier weight day, do a less bike or vice versa. But use the AIRWAAV for that as well, and then right now, like I said, I'm getting ready to go to the World Cup. So we're doing a lot of training, a lot of bullpens. So I grab it right away and throw it in when I'm doing my warm up session and then my bullpen. And I use it
Yeah.
through the entire thing all the way through the game. So really in everything that I do, I have it in. So like I said, it's just feels natural, feels weird if I'm doing something without it. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You talked about just having it in helps you just breathe better and just feel more relaxed. Do you think there's a mental aspect of it at all, just having it in?
Yeah, I think one, like I said earlier, like you knowing that having it in kind of like puts you in the correct position to breathe more efficiently. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think just knowing that, like that helps my brain in general.
And
But
being
then
more
secondly,
relaxed too, with how you're saying being a
yeah,
little bit more anxious too.
right,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, and so I feel it with that, and then just being able to like have it in, I feel like it's almost gives me that reminder. Something like when you kind of take it out between pitches or mess with it in your mouth, it almost like triggers my brain to know that like to take a deeper breath, to like feel more efficient, to be more relaxed, and then actually does it scientifically. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
it helps with those anxious feelings or like your heart rate getting up. It like allows you to help slow down and get back to being efficient. So I think yes, it does mentally, and just knowing that information kind of allows me to like fully commit to it and buy into it as well.
Yeah. That's how I think for me too, when I use it, there is the mental aspect of it, and just kind of feeling like now it's a part of my routine and using it in all of my training as well. And then all the science to back it up as well. Like there is the comfort of it and that what I see, but then I think it's cool to know about all the like peer reviewed research and all the science
Right.
that backs it, as it's just not like I feel a certain way. There's
Right.
the science
Exactly.
of it and it's like there's research too.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yes.
My last question for us today is in talking about younger softball athletes, with how much advice and I guess maturity really in the sport that you have, what advice would you have for those athletes either looking to make it in the next level or maybe they're just playing softball or maybe it's D1? What would you have to say to younger athletes?
Hmm. I would say find out and explore what you're great at within your game. Because I think as softball players, we're all so different. Even like pitchers and like the pitching staff I'm on, we're so completely different, but we're all so great, right? So find what that is for you and really like lean into that. So if we do what we do really well, then we're not trying to be anybody else. And that's like the
Yeah.
best part. I think when we try and, like I said earlier, with comparing yourself to what someone else is doing or trying to be a certain athlete that you're maybe not, um, we don't make ourselves great. So every athlete on the field, especially on the softball field, like is so uniquely great at what they do. And if we can like really buy into that role and what that is and like be really great at that, then the team is going to be great if everybody does that. So
Yeah.
don't compare to what everyone else is doing. Really find what you do well and like hone in on that. We can always obviously like what we aren't great at, we can work on, but like we have to know our strengths and what we do really well and be confident in that.
Yeah. And what sets you apart too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%. I love it. Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule with all the travel
Of
and
course.
all the different time zones and everything. I enjoyed hearing some about your story and just why you really enjoy AIRWAAV. So thank you, and I can't wait to see how you do at Worlds and all the other
Yeah.
things after that to add to your long list of accomplishments.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it and genuinely love you guys and everyone at AIRWAAV. So it's been a pleasure. I absolutely love it.
Of course,
So,
that's so nice.
yeah.
All right, well, have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Of course.
See
I'll
you
talk to you
later.
later.
Well, that's all for today's episode of On the Air. Thank you all for listening, and thank you, Ally, for joining me. Be sure to stay tuned for our next episode, and don't forget to purchase your own AIRWAAV mouthpiece if you want to break your best and unlock your full athletic potential. If you've made it this far, be sure to use code OTA15 for 15% off your next purchase. Drop any questions that you have about AIRWAAV in the comments below, and see you next time.